All right, here we go. Super Bowl Sunday. I was just saying, what's up, man? I'm excited about the game now. It's like the past couple of weeks has been, I don't know, relatively boring, predictable. Basically the same teams as a couple years ago. But I'm excited for the game today. Where's your excitement level, and which way are you leaning? Let's just get right into it.
I was in the same boat. I really wasn't like all week. It was like I know it's Super Bowl week, but like there was so much stuff going on in the NBA, all that stuff. I was kind of focused on that mostly. And then finally it's Sunday and I'm like really excited to watch it. But I've been thinking about it. I talked about it earlier, but I can't go against the Chiefs here. I really wish I could. Again, I've been looking for an out the entire time. I've been looking for like what is the game script where the Eagles win. I just don't see one. I really don't, because for them to win this game, I think they'd have to blow them out. I think they'd have to beat them by a significant margin. If it's a one possession game, the Chiefs are going to win. I don't see the Eagles being able to make this more than a one possession game, or at least sustain more than a one possession game.
So let's what's the right word here? Let's zero in offensively or defensively. Like, is there no plan for the Eagles to be able to stop Mahomes? Is that why it can't be? They can't just beat him by 10, 14 points.
So the big issue for me comes down, it's coaching and then offensive script. If the Eagles try and run the ball all over them again, I guarantee Spagnuolo and the Chiefs are going to know what to do with that. I guarantee they're going to know how to stop that. They were able to zero in on Josh Allen's tush push last week, which was like the X factor of that Bills offense, and did a pretty good job stopping it and stopped it when it mattered. I don't see a world where Barkley is able to get out in the open and really just dominate as he has in the past couple weeks. I wish
Really?
he could, but the Chiefs have one of, I think it is the best run defense in football, and they have probably the best defensive mind in football right now as a coordinator. I really have a hard time thinking they're just going to be able to pound the ball with.
Why did why was Mixon able to run so effectively a couple weeks ago, and then even Cook last week on that first drive out of the second half ran right down their throats? Why?
Cook, they were able to get, the Bills were able to do it in the second half, but they didn't get it going in the first. It was completely it was a chokehold in the first half. Spagnola just got out adjusted going into the second. Joe Brady's a genius, all that stuff. I think that the Eagles could begin to run better in the second half, maybe out adjust Spagnuolo, but expecting him to make the same mistake twice, I don't see happening. I think the Mixon one really came down to like one of those like hack a Shaq situations where it's like, we're not going to give you Nico Collins over the top. Mixon can operate in this middle range. We know that like push comes to shove, we can clamp down at the end. But the focus, and Mixon struggled early in that game too. There might be some fading from the Chiefs defense. I really don't see it happening though. I think that with Barkley being the out and out number one option on this team, they're going to do everything they can to just shut him down like they have with like other number one options for the teams they've been playing.
And the personnel wise, because the Eagles' offensive line, let's see. I mean, the Chiefs built that defensive line effectively to rush the passer. I mentioned this earlier. Karlaftis, whatever his name is. People forget the Patriots and the Bills are Patriots traded to get with that pick, so the Chiefs could get Karlaftis. What is it? Karlaftis? Is that how you say his name?
Karlaftis.
Karlaftis from Purdue. Great edge rusher. Little undersized. Chris Jones is fantastic. Rushing the quarterback on third down. Probably can't find somebody better on the inside. Almost maybe in the history of like modern football. He's like that dynamic. But you're telling me the Eagles aren't going to just line up on first and second down, third down, fourth down when they only need a few yards and just move them? Because the Chiefs don't feel big enough. I know their rush defense was great during the regular season. It's a product of teams usually playing from behind to some extent. And this Eagles offensive line is so dominant. Dickerson's back. Jurgens is healthy. You just don't think they're going to win the line of scrimmage. I don't see how you're saying there's no chance that Barkley's not going to be able to get rolling here.
I think that you look at guys like Nick Bolton, they have their linebackers make up for a lot of the weaknesses and size on the defensive line. They get in, they attack well, and they don't really let rushers get past that second level a lot. Like that's what they're really good at. I think they'll be able to. Saquon's phenomenal. They'll be able to move the ball to an extent early in this game. The issue is like if they get 4 yards on first down and run again and get stopped there, they're going to start. If that happens 2 or 3 times in a row, they're going to really stop running on second down. They're going to start just trying to force it to throw. And I personally think that the throwing is going to be there more than the running is. I think the smart play here, you have Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, Saquon as a receiver. These are 4 elite targets. Goddard's been playing out of his mind at the end of the season. Devonta's been a little quiet. AJ Brown's been elite. I think if you outmaneuver them, if you're Kellen Moore, you go out there and say, we're going to throw a lot to start this game. We're going to throw a lot most of this game. It throws off the Chiefs' entire defensive scheme. They're scheming to stop you from running the ball. And you have your personnel is already so good in the pass catching game. I think that's where you win. I think you win by just beating them by throwing the ball. You've run the ball all year and you flip it on them and say, no, we trust Jalen Hurts. We're just going to throw it all over the field on you. And then we can start introducing Saquon running the ball. And now you're screwed. You can't beat either of them. You're kind of all over the place. That's how I would script this game to beat the Chiefs.
But you don't think they're going to do that. You think they're going to just kind of play it a little tight and then be stuck on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and then that's why the Chiefs will be able to get them off the field?
I think they'll get to what I said, but I think what the issue will be is they'll start running the ball. I think you got to start passing, and I don't trust them. What I would do is something no offensive coordinator will ever do, which is go away from their bread and butter in the biggest game of the season. I think that's the right move here. I just don't trust them doing that, or at least doing that early enough. I think Kellen Moore will figure that out eventually and get there, but by that point, it will be too late. And then, again, the key is you got to win by more than one possession. If you screw around on the first couple of drives and get stopped, you kind of have voided the ability to win by more than one possession, in my opinion, especially against the Chiefs.
Interesting take. Well, you know what? I would probably say that I hear everything you're saying, right? Like I would say that I think I 100% disagree that. Like, I think that my take on it is the Eagles are going to be so much bigger and stronger up front that I thought the Eagles were going to here's my take on it. I thought the Eagles were going to be bad this year because I didn't think the offensive line was going to be as dominant. So I assumed they'd be stuck in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. I still think if it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, I rank the Eagles out of the playoffs. Like, I don't think they're a good football team at 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. They haven't developed a passing attack it's very vanilla, but they almost built in my take, just watching this year, the perfect team for the way football is being played in 2025, where this read option, Hurts is fully committed to it. I think if Lamar, to an extent, was fully committed to it, if the Ravens ran the Eagles offense, it's the way to play football because you can't kill the quarterback. And if you have the strong offensive line, you just keep wearing the other team down. To me, the kryptonite against that is what the Chiefs scored 45, 50 points. Because the only game script I see, and then we'll get to the other side of the ball because one of us will be right and the other one will be like, that's just football. But I think the other side of the ball is even more interesting because the game script for me, if I'm the Chiefs, is basically to play how the Super Bowl played last year, or 2 years ago. Assume the Eagles are going to score 40, 50 points, and we have to score a touchdown every possession, no possessions off, because the only way I see the game going for the Chiefs' direction is in an absolute shootout that the Chiefs just end up having a few more points at the end because I don't think the Chiefs' defense can hold up. So let's see if we disagree on the Chiefs' game plan, and then we'll get to the prop bets.
Oh, and for the record, I fully agree that it's going to be a shootout. I just think the whole thing is they need to be able to be so good on offense they don't make a single mistake because that's what you have to do against the Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs can script up enough good defensive stuff to just stop them once and to just stop them at the wrong time. That's what the Chiefs have done all season is getting them to stall out at the wrong time. I think both these teams the line's 48.5. I could see one of those teams covering it on their own legitimately with how good I think both these offenses are going to be. The issue is, for me, the other side of the ball, like you're saying. Like, I think the Eagles will score. I just don't know how you stop the Chiefs when push comes to shove.
So yes, and I think I definitely see it the other way where the Chiefs got to be perfect because I don't think they can run the ball. So let's start there. Pacheco's not fully healthy because he's basically demoted to number 2. Hunt gets the majority of the carries. That, to me, is the weakest spot. The past 2 Super Bowls, I felt like the Chiefs' offensive line could lean on the other team. And that's why I favor the Chiefs, because unlike the Eagles, they don't have to be in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. They just got to be in 3rd and 5, and then Mahomes is automatic. I see a lot of 3rd and 8s. I think the Chiefs are going to be behind the sticks a lot, and mainly because they're not going to be able to get a push up front. The offensive line, and tell me what your thoughts here on this, because Thuney, the left guard, is going to ship out to left tackle. I think he can survive over there. I'm not necessarily worried that it'll be a repeat of what the Bucs did, where they're nonstop sacking Mahomes. But I think what kills the Chiefs is losing him inside, because they used to get the bigger push up front. I don't think Hunt's going to be able to run the football at all. Let's start there. I got under. We'll start with the bets here as we kind of talk through it. But I got under 45.5 rushing yards for Kareem Hunt as like one of my favorite bets. I don't see it. Pacheco's is 20.5. Yeah, I'd like to go under there, but just in case Hunt fumbles or something and to get Pacheco more carries, maybe gets like 26, 27. I feel great about Hunt going under 45. And I don't like the Chiefs' offensive line at all being able to block for the running back. And I don't love him in pass protection either. Thoughts on that?
I think when you're dealing with Patrick Mahomes, he gets the ball out so quick. He's been doing it all season. He just went up against the Bills, who are on him really fast the entire game. He just gets the ball out quick and he extends the play. He either throws quick or he scrambles, and he's been really good at scrambling the ball. Like my two favorite plays, I wish I could parlay them together on like a betting app, but they team lock you. It's Kelsey receiving yards. It's Mahomes passing yards. I think if you're the Chiefs, just don't even try and like you can mix the run in a little bit. I feel like at this point, like you're going to win this game throwing the ball. Like that's at this point in the season. All season you've been running the ball to win games, but in the postseason, it's been passing the ball or Mahomes scrambling that's been winning you the game. I say just give Mahomes the ball, let Mahomes figure it out. We kind of saw, I think, a similar approach from the Eagles when they lost against the Chiefs, and it worked really well with a quarterback that didn't throw a lot in Jalen Hurts. They ran the ball, I just checked, 7 times with Kenneth Gainwell, 7 with Miles Sanders, and Jalen Hurts threw the ball 43 times, and they scored, 33 points. So I think that kind of approach from the Chiefs, where they just say, screw it, we don't really need to run the ball that much. Let's throw all game. We have Travis Kelce. Xavier Worthy is a ridiculous X factor. Juju can be a factor. Hollywood Brown can be a factor. I think that, you just put the ball in Mahomes' hands and say, look, it's the Super Bowl. You're the best. You say you're the best quarterback in the world. Go prove it. And I think it should be able to work against the Eagles.
So the difference between this Eagles team from a couple years ago is they added Mitchell and DeJean, the 2 rookie corners, to replace, was it Bradbury, the guy that got called for the holding penalty, and really Maddox was their 3rd corner. He's now their 4th corner. A clear upgrade there. They got Blankenship back there with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The Eagles secondary is the best secondary as far as depth's concerned. Statistically, I think they're going to press these guys up front. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Chiefs don't have the go-to receiver that I don't know who you think they're going to feature tonight. You think it's going to be Worthy? Because they have 58.5 receiving yards. I got under on that. Juju is like 13.5. Hollywood Brown and Hopkins, they're not being. Who do you think's going to get featured? You think he's going to go all over the place?
It's Kelsey. It's going to be a Kelsey game. As far as the receivers go, I think Worthy probably has the best chance of getting open just off pure athleticism. And I think they're going to use him in a lot of screen situations, a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of rushes, like you've seen Worthy get used all season. But simply put, it's Andy Reid knowing that he is at a personnel disadvantage at wide receiver. He's known this for 2 weeks. He's prepped for this for 2 weeks. If there's one guy I can trust to get these guys open, just run ridiculous concepts, it's Andy Reid. I think he will know how, despite being overmatched and all this stuff, I think Andy Reid's the kind of guy that can get them open. I hope they don't get open. For the record, I want the Eagles to win this game. I more than anything beg for the Eagles to win this game. I just I've reached a point where I can't put my money against the Chiefs. It never makes sense. It won't make sense. After the game, if they win, we'll walk away from it being how did they win that game? They beat the Eagles 2 years ago. Mahomes threw for under 200 yards. We're going to walk away from this game if they win saying, how did they pull it off? that's just how they win games. Like
So the past 2 years, I've gone to the casino, bet a lot of money on the Chiefs, paced around nonstop, like watching each play literally on a different TV as I just like keep pacing around. And both games, I had that feeling of like I picked the wrong team, especially in the Eagles Super Bowl. Like just I picked the wrong team. But what won that game for the Chiefs in when I look back on it is that first drive out of the second half. They're down by 10, and Pacheco ran right down their throat, and it set this tone for, you know what, we're good enough to be able to run the football that you can't play like Mahomes is. Now you can't stop us because if the Chiefs can run the football, then you can't stop Mahomes. I keep coming back to the Eagles added your boys, right? The Davis and Carter. I mean, your fucking Georgia can't stop Notre Dame, can't stop Riley, whatever is fucking. You think that's gonna happen? Jordan Davis and what's his face Carter would have ate him, right? Like that just would never have happened. Instead, I got to watch a bunch of Irish move the line of scrimmage. And dude, these guys, you know better than me. They're just too big, too strong. And if you're telling me that Mahomes is going to make magic on 3rd and 8 tonight, fine. But I think 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, it just runs out tonight. And they don't have the receivers to win. They can scheme it open on 1st and 2nd down if you have to respect the run. But I'm going to live and die here, I guess, with the line of scrimmage and think that it's an overwhelming advantage for Philadelphia. And I give them credit for building their team out this way. Like they haven't paid Davis or Carter yet, right? Like they're both on rookie deals.
Yeah. Davis won't even probably get a super big deal because he doesn't play that much. Like can't play that many snaps. So
did he only play like 13 snaps? I mean, I know they blew out Washington, but like he doesn't play like what 35, 40% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Like
and at UGA he was playing maybe 60%. So like it's like he doesn't play as much because the speed of he's just too big. Like he can't play that many snaps. But Carter being an every down guy is ridiculous because he's not that much smaller. And also Nolan Smith's been really good off the edge for the Eagles. I think he could be a problem. I think he runs at Thuney, which is the concern. But I think that, I again, like when it comes down to it, like logical reasoning is the Eagles. Like the Eagles are the better team. Like there's no question to me in that. And for the record, like I think Jalen Hurts will pass for a bunch of yards. That's one of my props. It's a really low line. I think he will. I like Goddard. I like Devonta Smith. I like Saquon receiving. I think they throw a lot, and I think they score a lot of points. And I think it's one of those games where the Eagles offense won't look at it and say, damn, we got beat. I think it's one of those that you just walk away from and you're like, how did that happen?
Well, let me ask you this then. Was there a defense this year in the Super Bowl that you would take that matched up better with the Chiefs where you would be like, you know what, I kind of like that team, or are you going to have this feeling no matter who it was?
Ravens probably just the Ravens as just defense alone, probably the Ravens. Maybe the Vikings would have been a fun matchup too defensively just because they blitz a lot. They would have taken advantage of like Mahomes, probably could have gotten to him quick enough, and it would have just been really fun to watch Mahomes going up against that aggressive mid-blitz style. But no, the Eagles, personnel-wise, they have the most talented defense in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. So Fangio, the defensive coordinator,
is incredible too. Like I had him in Chicago for a season. He turned Chicago into a team that like they had Mitch Trubisky winning 12 games. Like it's like he's incredible.
He is 0-7 against Mahomes. Mahomes has ridiculous numbers. Those losses come as the head coach of the Broncos and then the D coordinator for the Dolphins. But it should be interesting. All right, let's go through these bets and figure out. You've alluded to it's going to be a high-scoring game, so why don't you just kind of rip through yours? I'll go through mine, and
So the first two, obviously, I have Chiefs -1.5. I really wish I didn't. They're probably going to win, and I have over 48.5. I think that's probably one of the worst lines out there. Like
you would juice it up. Like if you love that, you probably because you can make any bet you want tonight. Essentially.
If you wanted to get really, really, really ballsy, I think like lower units, of course, but up to 59.5. I think there's life on that. I think both teams can score 30. If you want to take over on both teams' lines, I think that's also a safe one. I don't have that specifically, but I think both teams outscore their.
You are really leaning into. I hate to. I'm not like public and sharp stuff, but I would say the average person who's going to watch the Super Bowl tonight would say, "All right, it's more fun if there's a lot of points." It is Patrick Mahomes and a dynamic Eagles offense. They scored 55 last week. Of course, it's going to go over. So, as someone that bets a lot and thinks like that, why are you not going to go the other way? Because you usually hear people, it's like, all right, it's a big game. The contrarian way of thinking is like, if it's so easy to make the obvious argument for the over, then it's probably going to go under. So why don't you?
I'd say like team wise, like personnel wise, the logic says it should be a low scoring game. If you just go off, these are two good defenses and stuff. And like, I'd say like if someone checks analytics, they would say this game should be under. I just think like, look, I don't know how to explain it. They scripted up for the Super Bowl. This feels like one like for the three-peat for Mahomes is three-peat. Like if we're going off a pure script thing, because it always feels like the Super Bowl's got just a ridiculous script on it. It should be a shootout for Mahomes to three-peat, and that's what I have happening. I think it's going to be a shootout. And it's like simply
to clarify, the script is like
like you always. I've watched the last two Super Bowls closely, and if you sit there and I bet both of them, you sit there and you think like when you're making your picks, like, it makes sense. Saquon goes off in the they shut him down in the run game. He goes off in the receiving game. Of course, Kelsey's going to have a big game. It's the Super Bowl and all that stuff. It feels like the last two seasons, outside of the outcome, the games have had a very poetic like path to them and stuff. And I simply put, this feels like another one that's just going to be like as high scoring as it gets. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you didn't think Goodell and the guys in the shed.
They're not rigging it. They're not rigging it.
I just wanted to make sure that Reed and Sirianni didn't get the game script this afternoon, and they already know the plays happening. You're just saying the way it feels like it's all going to shape out. Looking back at history, Chiefs are going to get the three-peat. Mahomes is just going to be dynamic, and the storyline is things just kind of work out for the Chiefs. They're the better team under pressure. Basically, all the things that happened last week to beat Buffalo, and that what we've been saying over the past two Super Bowls.
Yeah, and it just that feels like how it's going to happen. I have Mahomes. I think the line was 253.5 is what I got him at. It's a high line. It's definitely not a low line, but it's Patrick Mahomes. And I don't see them running the ball. And I think win or lose, he's going to be throwing the ball a lot. Like I don't see a world where they go up 3 scores and just sit on a lead against the Eagles. I really don't see that happening. I have Kelsey being the main guy. I have him at 60.5 was the line I got him at. He's over this, I think, in every Super Bowl he's played in. And if you check his playoff numbers outside of games against the Bills, I think he's over in every single one.
He needs 3 catches to be the all-time leader in catches in the Super Bowl.
So, like, he's gonna have a big game. That's kind of how it always works in big games. He's been really good for me betting all playoffs. Again, as long as he doesn't have Matt Milano on him, it feels pretty safe. And the other one is Juju Smith-Schuster over 10.5 longest reception. It's just a weird line. They have him priced at 1.5 receptions right now. I think if he catches the ball once, he covers the line. I don't see him operating in that middle range. He's kind of like a little deeper is where his routes come from. I think he gets open once. I think like I don't see him having a big game, but like his yards line is higher. I think he's going to catch a 10+ yarder.
How do you think Reed's going to coach this game from a 4th and 1, or maybe like those 50-50 calls, like 4th and 2? Do we take the field goal? Do they punt and play defensively? Because the Chiefs he's a little bit more old school in that they won't go for it or they'll take their 3 points. I've had a lot of smart folks that I listen to love the over and field goals for the Chiefs. Butker, all props relating to Butker, maybe not necessarily political views. That's up for another day, but Butker is getting a lot
he's playing for Trump. Yeah, I should have put that on there. Yeah, no, Butker probably will kill his line. Like, there's no way he doesn't. He's gonna, yeah.
But seriously, like, if you think that, how do you think Reed's gonna put? Like, just for example, early in the game, 4th and 3 at the Eagles 47. Is that a punt or is that a go for it?
Probably a go for it. He probably just punts that. Yeah, he probably just punts that. I've been watching him all season. His whole mindset all season has been don't be the guy that makes the first mistake.
So, so here's the thing about Reed. I felt like they were going to win the Super Bowl against Philly because Eagles fans weren't appreciative of Reed's time.
Yeah,
went to 4 NFC championships, a couple, one Super Bowl, but like always good. And really looking back on it, not the most dynamic personnel. Just always kind of put things together ahead of his time with screen passes, and throwing the ball on first down. So anyway, they ran him out of town. They just couldn't get over the hump with him. That's how they felt. And then they were, I guess, proven right when Peterson won that one year. So it felt like Reed's too good of a guy. Like he's not going to lose to the Eagles that first Super Bowl. That was part of my logic going in. I don't love Andy Reid in big games. Like I think that it gets sometimes a little too tight. So as much as I wasn't a fan of Sirianni, it feels like the Eagles have figured something out. And if the Chiefs don't play this game very aggressive, they better be aggressive. I love the way they attack Buffalo, coming out and throwing. But if they don't, I do kind of like the Eagles.
No, yeah. I mean, I think whatever he does, if he's gonna go for it, I really don't see a world where it misses. Like I've watched this guy. Like I know I wasn't watching football when there was the Andy Reid playoff choker narrative. That wasn't like I didn't grow up through that. I know it was a big thing for a while. My memories of Andy Reid are basically winning 3 Super Bowls in the span of 5 years. So he's that's to me I think that he's kind of gotten over the hump, and at this point in his career, he's clinical. Like he gets it done. He's weird. You don't know really what he's doing. That's I think what he uses to his advantage. Is he is a little weird. My Eagles plays are all passing based. I don't think they run the ball that much. I'm not going to take Saquon's under because if you're taking Saquon's under, it's just a risky bet, and it's not one you should ever make because he can probably it's 180.
So you think the Eagles are going to come out and throw the ball tonight?
I think they're throwing, and I think it will work. I have Saquon receiving yards. I think that you get him in space. I've taken it before. He's burned me so many times. I got to go out trusting him. I think you pass the ball to Saquon Barkley. Chiefs haven't been very good defending running backs all season out of the passing game. I think you target that. That's your boy. If you can get him in space passing the ball, that's great. I have Devonta Smith over 50.5, I think was the line. A.J. Brown's going to be on Trent McDuffie all game. That's a horrible matchup. McDuffie, basically, you can't catch the ball on McDuffie because he either bats it away or fouls the shit out of you. So I don't see him doing much. I do see him getting at least one because at the end of the day, it's A.J. Brown. I have 24.5 longest reception. I don't see him doing much else besides one big play. I think if they use him as a decoy, it works pretty well, and then go to him at least once. Goddard's my favorite one. I think his was 52.5. He's been big all postseason. Chiefs aren't very good against tight ends. I think that you go to Goddard. He's been just electric the entire time. And, of course, with all the yards for receiving, I have Jalen Hurts over 208 passing yards. His line with passing yards really always just comes down to what's the game script. Is he going to have to throw the ball or is he not going to have to? I think he does. I think he covers it. I think there is some value with taking his rushing yards too. Quarterbacks have been able to run fairly well against the Chiefs. I just don't love it, and I think passing yards is the better play.
Well, I got all Eagles rushing. I think it's just they're bigger, stronger. I don't know if this game's going to be super competitive in the fourth quarter. I can't believe I've gone all the way from before the season started to the Eagles being the biggest disappointment to their offensive line and defensive line are just too good. If they were going to lose, they were going to lose to the Rams. I don't know why they won that game. That was their slip-up game. And I think they're going to be A+ in the dome. I think Jalen Hurts is read option. I like all overs with rushing yards, rushing attempts for Jalen Hurts, rushing yards for the Eagles, rushing yards for Barkley. To me, it comes down to the red zone. And if the Eagles force the Chiefs to take a couple field goals, I don't think the game's competitive. I could see it going over. If the Chiefs are, if Mahomes is Mahomes. But my gut just tells me that the Chiefs did not prioritize the correct thing before the season. If you want a three-peat, you take care of Patrick Mahomes. And instead, you got big Jawan Taylor out there who's basically offsides every other play. Started in the Ravens game on opening night, where it's like, wait, what is he doing? I think he gets called for one or two of those. And their left tackle sucked before the season, sucked during the season. They try to add this guy, he gets hurt. So now they take their best offensive lineman and they make him a average left tackle, and now they have a below average left guard. They didn't prioritize the offensive line. Instead, they prioritized Xavier Worthy. They prioritized Hollywood Brown. They bought into the narrative of last year. We didn't get Mahomes the weapons, so they spent their capital improving the weapons instead of improving the offensive line. And now Mahomes is going to be 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. You know what I'm excited about is I really think I'm right about that it's going to be 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. But I genuinely don't know if Mahomes is just going to complete all those passes anyway.
So I think you are right. My whole mindset is I think that it will be 3rd and longs, and I think it's just Patrick. Like I just think he's going to do it. Like it's like it feels like he always does. Like it's I can't convince.
I just feel like it.
Yeah.
I just feel like if I felt strongly about it, my ass would be at the casino. Like, why would I not just go for the three-peat? So something's just telling me the other way. So yeah, I got the over. A couple things to run by you. I got over 21 first downs for the Eagles, which I just feel like one way or the other, winning or losing, I think that goes. I do have some overs for the receivers for the Eagles as well. And then a couple of long shots that I think are, but a couple of long shots that I think are at least worth looking at. Both teams attempting a 2-point conversion. I think that one, I can't remember. It's going to take me a minute to pull it up. It was either 350 or 450.
Really good. Yeah.
I like that one. I liked the alternative line for Eagles -9.5. I think was plus 350. I think if they're going to roll them, they roll them. There's a couple other ones. We'll put them out there. But, yeah, for the most part, I don't really like just kind of throwing money at the plus 700, 800, like long shot bets. So I'll have about 10 to 15 of them that we'll list out here. And I'll sprinkle my money around that way. But, yeah, I don't feel strongly enough to put big money down on the Eagles because that goes against the rule. Once Mahomes, Ravens fans remember, I don't know if you do, but I think it was Lamar's rookie year where it was 4th down and Mahomes threw the ball to Tyreek on a 4th down play to extend it. I don't know how he completed this pass. And I just remember literally watching that play and saying that he gets the Tom Brady treatment. So I could not believe we lost that game. I'm like, I'm just not betting my own money against him. I'm not doing that for the rest of my life. So not doing that. But all my bets are suggesting that I do like the Eagles to win. So any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles all game. It's a bunch of Georgia guys. I want them to win. I will be rooting for them. I've bet in a manner that I think works for both game scripts, which I like to try and do, is ones where either team can win if these happen. And I do still think the Eagles move the ball, and I would love to see them win the game, but I cannot confidently, I will never, like you said, tell people that I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to lose a Super Bowl for the rest of my life. I can't say it. I think he's might be the greatest of all time when he's done with it. And yeah, I would feel bad if I want him to lose. I really think it makes sense that he loses. I just can't in good faith say that he will lose. That's what it comes down to for me.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it. Sure. We'll have plenty to talk about. There's no college basketball bets for me because I'm not going to run away from yesterday being a disaster. There's no fun thing when you say something's going to be a defensive game like the Kansas State game, and it's like, oh, Kansas State's going to have their best shooting night in the first half. This is just great. This is not talk about game script. It's like I can survive if Kansas gets hot early because Kansas State's not supposed to score a lot, so that was wonderful. Georgia. Fuck Georgia. Yeah, I'm moving. Yeah, that's what I've decided. It's costing me money. And then Northwestern. Yeah, maybe I should have a different life that doesn't revolve around staying up till midnight to watch Northwestern lose to Washington. So yeah, that's that. Maryland plays Rutgers at home. Maryland fucked me the other night. That was wonderful. They'll probably win by 30 today because I won't bet it. But
yeah, Rutgers is hot right now too. That's a tough one.
they bet. Don't say that. Better not be a tough one.
At least they don't kick. At least they don't kick basketballs with 1 second left in the game.
Wait, is that what happened with Georgia yesterday?
Yeah, it was a kickball violation. 1 second left.
We do a whole pod on Cooper Flag. That probably would have made me feel better. But all right, you gotta go to work. Gotta let you roll. Good luck to everybody on what you're betting. Oh, you're right. Rutgers did beat Illinois. I forgot that was the. Yeah, you're right. Shit, son of a bitch. They're in a good mood. All right, enjoy the game tonight. Ultimately, I'm gonna think the Eagles are gonna. I think the Eagles are gonna get them. I think the Eagles are gonna get them, and I don't think it'll be close in the fourth quarter. But J Mart's on the other side of it. Good luck. See you guys in the morning. See you, man.
I see you.